Here to discuss this bombshell is Republican candidate for Senate in North Carolina and former JAG officer at the Pentagon, Don Brown. Don, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Terrance. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Looking forward to this conversation. Let's just start here. How floored were you to hear of this sort of White House sponsored spying on American citizens, much more sitting members of Congress?
You know, I would really be floored if it weren't for the fact that Obama started it first under a crossfire hurricane. Now, with the Democrats during the Biden administration and these unconstitutional prosecutions by the same Jack Smith, who seems to be behind this Arctic frost operation. I'm shocked. I'm disappointed. It's another assault on our Constitution, but unfortunately, we get desensitized to what they're doing, and I'm not as floored as I wish that I were.
In general, spying and surveilling American citizens is unheard of. It's not legal. Except for under certain conditions. Talk about the legalities or lack thereof in this particular Arctic frost investigation.
Right. Well, we start with a little thing in the Constitution called the Fourth Amendment. You know, the right of the people to be secure in their persons, houses, papers and effects shall not be violated. Not be violated. And if you're going to go in and you're going to surveil someone, whether it's a member of Congress or someone who works at McDonald's, it doesn't matter. All American citizens have the right to privacy under the Fourth Amendment. You got to have a search warrant. And what Jack Smith and his protege, his folks appear to have done here is they appear to have issued subpoenas and used electronic eavesdropping on members of Congress in their telephone calls, and without going to a judge and getting a warrant. You got to have probable cause that a crime has been violated. And I think Jack Smith himself needs to be prosecuted. And this is the same Jack Smith that went after Governor Bob McDonnell and was reversed 8-0. He went after President Trump on a frivolous, national security case when the president could have all the documents he wants under the Presidential Records Act. He made a mockery of J6, trying to call it an insurrection when it's a Fedsurrection. He's abused the courts, attacking the Constitution, and he needs to face the music himself. And I really hope that our new Attorney General Pam Bondi is going to take a look at some of his actions pretty hard here.
As a layman, it seems the proof is pretty clear, but I'd like to tap into your JAG experience. How do you see the proof, and how do you see this case being prosecuted? Is this a difficult case to make?
Well, I don't really think so. The issue is whether or not these search warrants or in the alternative electronic surveillance, they say they didn't get any conversations from the senators, but they were getting metadata as to who they were calling and who was calling in. And that's a private matter. And I think you made the argument that they tried to use subpoenas in lieu of search warrants. 18 U.S.C. 241 and 242 address this. You can prosecute under 242 members of the government who use the color of their office to deprive someone of their constitutional rights, and the right to privacy under the Fourth Amendment is a right. Under 18 U.S.C. 241, if there's a conspiracy to deprive of constitutional rights, there can be a prosecution. I think there should be definitely a criminal investigation into this. It does appear that this is an attempt to use search warrants to subterfuge to clear a requirement under the Fourth Amendment. I apologize, to use subpoenas, I should say, as an attempt to subterfuge to clear requirements under the Fourth Amendment to issue a search warrant. In other words, a backdoor way of violating these members of Congress's constitutional rights for privacy, and it's being done so for political reasons. And somebody needs to be held accountable. And that starts with Jack Smith and any other agents that are involved in this.
Agreed. Let's hope it gets to that point. Before I let you go, I want to talk about your Senate candidacy. Right now, you are in the Asheville area. That area, of course, was ravaged by the hurricane, just last year. What have you seen on the ground? What's recovery looking like there right now? And I would imagine that recovery, whatever was happening, is slowed now, given the government shutdown.
Recovery has been slowed. President Trump put one of my opponents, Mr. Whatley, in charge of recovery as a czar. Not too much has happened. And so Asheville needs help. We're estimating and I'm not talking about Asheville, I'm talking about the 25 counties in western North Carolina, Henderson County, Watauga County, Swain County. All these counties up here need help. It's estimated it's going to take about $64 billion to help. I think you've got to get FEMA out of the way. I think you got to put that money in a trust fund and get it directly to the counties and to Samaritan's Purse and to maybe one other charitable organization, Adam Smith's group perhaps, has been on the ground and has been helping here. We got to get the red tape out of the way so we can help these folks Hey, and even Hurricane Matthew in the eastern part of our state, 9 years ago, there's still 5,000 people that are homeless because of Democrat Roy Cooper's ineptitude. And we got to do better. We got to get money directly to the people. We got to cut out the bureaucracy, and that means getting rid of FEMA. We got to replace it with something that's more workable, effective, and manageable.
You mentioned your opponent, Michael Watley. He's obviously the big fish given his relationship with President Trump. How much of a challenge is it going to be to beat him? You chuckle, so go ahead. I'm interested in this response since you chuckled.
The big tuna, the big kahuna. Well, listen, some of the mainstream media wants it to be a Watley versus Cooper race. I actually mentioned my other opponent, Roy Cooper, the Democrat and former governor. Watley is not popular on the ground in North Carolina, and I love President Trump. He is Mount Rushmore worthy, but I think he's gotten some, less than good advice with regard to Mr. Watley. He is not popular at all within the grassroots of the Republican Party. We're going to take him down in the primary. We're going to pull a huge surprise, and sooner or later, local media is going to realize there's more than one competitor in the Republican primary. They're trying to make it as if he's already been coronated. And what's happening here is the RNC and the North Carolina Republican Party are trying to coronate Watley without a debate and without an opponent, kind of like the Democrats did with Kamala Harris. Terrance, we got to be better to the Democrats. North Carolina Republicans deserve to hear their candidates debate to see who's the best policy chops and who's the most conservative candidate, and that's me.
And it's clear that Don Brown has something to say and will have something to say about all of that. We appreciate you being here with us. Thank you so much for taking some time out of your schedule.
Thank you, Terrance. God bless. Hope to see you again soon.
Absolutely. You always are welcome on this show. Thank you so much.